Have you ever wondered why the Japanese live longer than almost anyone else on Earth? Why so many of them reach 100 and even 110 years, still walking, still smiling, still living with purpose? Many people believe the secret lies in their diet, their genetics, or their healthcare system. But there's another practice, one that science now recognizes as one of Japan's most powerful medicines for longevity. It's called Shinrin-Yoku, or in English, forest bathing. And today, I want to show you how this simple 20-minute ritual could change the way you age, and perhaps how long you live. Here in the US, most of us live surrounded by concrete, traffic, and constant digital noise. Stress has become so common that we hardly notice it anymore, until it starts to affect our sleep, our immunity, our blood pressure, or even our mind. But in Japan, for over 40 years, something remarkable has been happening. Back in 1982, the Japanese government made Shinrin-Yoku an official part of its national public health strategy, a practice of immersing oneself in the atmosphere of the forest, not for exercise or performance, but simply to be there. Not hiking, not jogging, just breathing, walking slowly, and letting the forest work as medicine. This idea might sound poetic, but the science behind it is extraordinary. In the early 2000s, the Japanese Ministry of Forestry invested millions of dollars into scientific research to understand exactly why people felt better after time in the woods. Leading those studies was Dr. Ching Li from Nippon Medical School, and what he discovered changed our understanding of nature and human health forever. Dr. Li's research found that even a few hours of forest immersion could profoundly boost the immune system. In one controlled study involving Tokyo executives, a 3-day forest bathing retreat increased the activity of natural killer cells, the body's frontline defense against viruses and cancer, by more than 53%. The total number of these cells in the blood rose from 440 to 661 per microliter. But here's what amazed scientists even more. Those immune benefits didn't disappear after the trip. They lasted for up to 30 days. Think about that. Just 3 days in the forest strengthened immunity for an entire month. Meaning that a single session every few weeks could keep your immune system in a state of constant readiness. Even more impressive were the increases in the body's natural anti-cancer proteins, granulysin, granzymes A and B, and perforin, all rising between 28 and 48% after forest exposure. No pill or supplement has ever achieved that combination of immune enhancement and stress reduction, naturally and without side effects. Now, let's talk about stress, the invisible enemy that quietly accelerates aging. A meta-analysis of 22 clinical studies confirmed that Shinrin-Yoku sharply lowers levels of salivary cortisol, the key hormone that reflects chronic stress. And that change isn't just statistical. It represents a genuine recalibration of your body's stress response. Lower inflammation, better sleep, steadier mood. Even brief sessions, 15 or 20 minutes, were enough to reduce cortisol, adrenaline, and noradrenaline. Participants reported less anxiety, fewer depressive feelings, and a greater sense of calm and clarity. Many slept more deeply that same night. Imagine that. A free, side effect-free antidepressant, available right outside your door. When we look at Japan's national data, the story becomes even more compelling. As of 2025, Japan counts 99,763 centenarians. That's almost 100,000 people over the age of 100, the highest in recorded history. Even more astonishing, there are now 78 supercentenarians, men and women living beyond 110 years, from just 153 centenarians in 1963 to nearly 100,000 today. That's a 600-fold increase in 6 decades. And while diet and healthcare certainly play a role, many researchers believe Japan's deep cultural relationship with nature has been a silent, powerful contributor. People like Kane Tanaka, who lived to 119, and Jiromon Kimura, who reached 116, grew up surrounded by forests, gardens, and natural silence. They spent their lives in close connection with the land, not separated from it by glass and screens. But how can trees possibly affect our bodies at such a deep biological level? The answer lies in something invisible, yet measurable: phytoncides. These are natural essential oils that trees release to protect themselves from bacteria, fungi, and insects. When we inhale them, they enter our bloodstream and trigger a cascade of physiological responses. Studies show that breathing these compounds, especially alpha-pinene, beta-pinene, and limonene, released by Japanese cedar and cypress, directly increases the activity of natural killer cells. In Japan, concentrations of phytoncides peak between June and August, and that's exactly when traditional forest therapy programs are most active. Nature's rhythm and human biology appear beautifully synchronized, and Japan offers the perfect environment for it. About 67% of the country is covered by forest, a diversity of beech, oak, cedar, and pine that provides a symphony of scents and colors. The government has officially certified 62 forest therapy bases across the nation, places where visitors are guided by medical professionals who measure blood pressure, heart rate, and stress hormones before and after each session. It's medicine, practiced outdoors. So where does the idea of 20 minutes a day come from? While Japanese research often uses longer weekend sessions, 2 to 4 hours, a major British study found that 120 minutes of nature exposure per week was enough to deliver measurable health benefits. Divided into daily practice, that's roughly 20 minutes, a perfect and achievable dose. But as Dr. Lee himself explains, it's not about the duration, it's about the quality of sensory engagement. The most powerful sessions involve all 5 senses: seeing the patterns of light, hearing the rustle of leaves, smelling the earth and wood, touching bark and moss, even tasting the freshness of the air. You move slowly, without a goal. You leave your phone behind. You breathe deeply, allowing the aromatic molecules of the forest to travel into your lungs and calm your nervous system. In essence, Shinrin-Yoku is mindfulness made visible. But Japan's longevity isn't explained by forest bathing alone. It's part of a web of healthy cultural habits, a diet rich in fish, vegetables, and fermented foods, low red meat intake, daily physical activity through walking and gentle calisthenics known as radio taiso, and strong community bonds that honor aging as a stage of contribution, not decline. Interestingly, demographic data show an inverse relationship between forest coverage and cancer mortality across Japan, even after accounting for smoking and socioeconomic differences. In other words, regions with more trees tend to have fewer deaths from lung, breast, uterine, prostate, kidney, and colon cancers. That's not coincidence. That's environment as medicine. There's also a spiritual dimension that Western medicine often overlooks. In Japan, forests are sacred spaces. Shinto shrines sit beneath ancient trees, and Buddhist monks meditate among them. For many, the forest is not just a backdrop. It's a living partner in health. This cultural reverence helps people maintain the habit throughout life, turning a simple walk into an act of renewal and gratitude. Now let's look at what modern clinical science tells us about specific conditions. Hypertension. Studies show average reductions of 7 millimeters in both systolic and diastolic blood pressure after forest therapy, a meaningful shift that rivals mild antihypertensive drugs without side effects. Type 2 diabetes. Long-term programs demonstrate better blood glucose control, suggesting that lower stress hormones and improved insulin sensitivity are part of the mechanism. Depression and anxiety. In repeated trials using the Profile of Mood States test, participants showed consistent decreases in tension, depression, anger, fatigue, and confusion, along with significant increases in vigor. Sleep disorders. Measured with the Oguri Shirakawa Azumi Sleep Inventory, subjects reported better rest, less morning fatigue, and greater feelings of restoration. Even patients recovering from strokes or orthopedic injuries benefit from therapeutic gardens designed on Shinrin-Yoku principles. Hospitals in Japan now integrate these gardens into rehabilitation, where simply sitting among trees accelerates emotional recovery. Today, Shinrin-Yoku is spreading worldwide. Finland built national programs through its Forest Association. South Korea established Sanlim-Yok as a public health initiative. And here in the U.S., especially in California, wellness centers are offering guided forest bathing sessions for stress, burnout, and immune resilience. Of course, not every country has Japan's forests or cultural mindset. Urban density, pollution, and different tree species can change the experience. Yet studies show that even city parks, if visited mindfully, can produce measurable benefits. The key is immersion, not geography. Still, researchers acknowledge that some questions remain. Most studies have been done in Japan with relatively homogeneous populations. We need more long-term randomized trials in diverse cultures to fully understand how and why these effects occur. And while correlations between forests and longevity are strong, causation is complex. Genetics, diet, and social cohesion all interact. Even so, the evidence is far beyond speculation. We now know that inhaling phytoncides changes immune markers. We know cortisol drops. We know blood pressure, heart rate, and mood all improve. And we know those changes last for weeks, not minutes. Looking to the future, scientists envision personalized forest prescriptions, where genetic and health profiles guide the best type of forest environment or phytoncide mix for each individual. Urban planners are reimagining sponge cities that integrate green corridors to reduce flooding, improve air quality, and provide natural therapy for millions of residents. Even technology is entering the conversation. Some labs are testing immersive virtual reality forests for people who can't travel. Early results are promising, but they lack one essential element: the living chemistry of the trees themselves. No headset can replicate that. So, what does all this mean for you? It means that one of the most powerful medicines on Earth is still completely free. You don't have to fly to Japan or hike Mount Fuji. You can begin right where you are, in a park, a trail, or even a quiet garden. Turn off your phone. Walk slowly. Breathe deeply. Notice the color of the leaves, the smell of the air, the texture of the earth beneath your feet. That's not just relaxation. That's biology healing itself. The Japanese learned long ago that the forest is not separate from us. It is us. Every inhale carries molecules that remind your body how to balance, restore, and defend itself. And the more you practice, the longer those effects stay with you. So the next time someone asks, "What's the secret to living past 100?" you might tell them, it's not a pill. It's not a supplement. It's 20 minutes of peace with the oldest doctors on Earth, the trees. If this message resonates with you, share it with someone who needs to slow down, breathe, and reconnect. And remember, longevity isn't about adding years to life. It's about adding life to your years. Thank you for watching. I'm Dr. Hiroshi Takeda. Take care of your body, your mind, and the nature that heals both.